Alright guys, welcome to my video about how to make your net. So the first thing I want to talk about is the parts of the net. You'll notice on this completed net that was letter F that the length of the rectangular prism is the one that's going across the middle. So this is the length, 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 and length. There's really only 4 of them because of the way we fold it, that's all it needs to be. But if I turn it, and then there's 2 heights on either side right here and here. I call this the second and the third line. I call this the first line. The first line is only length. The second line is height, length, height. And the third line is height, length, height. And then we've got just a length and just a length. But then as I pivot it 90 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees is the proper math word, rotating. So I rotate it 90 degrees. And now you can see that this long line is width, height, width, height. And that these 4 making the top part are width, 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 width. And then this side is also width, height, width, height. So those are the parts that you're going to need to make your, so if you know your length, your width, and your height, you will be able to create a net for your rectangular prism. So freeze on this screen if you need to know which sides are length, width, and height, I guess is the short version. So I'm gonna get that over there. And then I'm going to show you guys how to make it. So you're going to start by making the initial line, the one on the very top right here, the first line. And I know that my height is 3 and my length for the example one I'm making is 8. I'm using numbers I know you guys won't use. So everything is in centimeters, as you can see here. So my first line is going to be 8 centimeters long. It's actually easier for me to see with this upside down because of the way the light is working in my room and stuff, right? So I need to leave 3 centimeters on this side because I know that the height is 3 centimeters. So I'm going to start here, kind of right here where the 23 is. And I know 23 to 13 is 10 centimeters, but I only need 8 centimeters. So I'm going to do 23 to 15, which is 8 centimeters. And this line doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but I try to line it up. So 23 is where I start, and I stop at 15. And that is 8 centimeters. And that's it. Notice I didn't push very hard. I can go back and check, let's put it at the 28 and it should stop at the 20, and 28 to 20 is exactly what it does. I don't know if y'all can see it, but we'll just have it like that. So now I've got an 8 centimeter line. That is my length. Here's the trickiest part. You need to make straight 90-degree lines away. So to make a straight 90-degree line away, you need a tool called a protractor. This is a protractor. It has a very essential piece right here. This place in the middle that has kind of like a little crosshairs. There's a vertical line and a horizontal line, and they have a hole in the middle, and I can draw through this hole. And that is a very essential part of a protractor. And you'll see 90 degrees is up here on the top. So if I line this black line that's going left to right, the horizontal line up, and I put this hole in the middle right on this dot right here at the end. So I'm putting the hole in the middle on the end, and then I'm making sure the black line is going straight with the purple line. Then I can actually measure a 90-degree angle. I can create a 90-degree angle. I'm taking a pencil because I don't want this to be a dark line. And I go to the 90-degree mark up here at the top, and you can actually do it on this one on the inside because they're the same. And I make a little dot with the pencil at the 90-degree mark. Not very dark. But if I draw a line from this end to that, it'll make a 90-degree angle. And I do the same on the other end. So I'm creating a line right here. I make sure that the dot is in the middle at the end of the line. I make sure that the black line is lined up with the purple line. And the camera's kind of in the way, so I'm going to have to bend around. But if this is off a little bit, it'll actually show to you guys that being off a little bit does not destroy your net. It just kind of makes it look a little off. But that's the only 2 times you're going to need the protractor is to make the 2 90-degree dots. The reason I made it in pencil is because I need to make a line that's going to go. So this side is the length of my thing. The line going this way is going to be the following combination. It's going to be height, then it's going to be height, and then it's going to be width, and then it's going to be height, and it's going to be width. And let me write. On this one that I'm making, the length is 8, the height is 3, and the width is 5. So the line going down is going to be a 3 and a 5 and a 3 and a 5. Well, 3 plus 5 is 8, so it's going to be 16 altogether because 3, 5, 3, 5, altogether that makes 16. So I need a line that's going to be 16 centimeters long. And then I'm going to start the line at this dot, and I'm just going to go 16 centimeters this way. I know 4 plus 16 is 20, so I'm going to start with the 4 at the very end right here. I'm going to make sure that it goes through this little pencil dot I made at the 90-degree mark, and I'm going to stop when I get to the 20. And that's basically all I'm going to do. I'm going to stop when I get to the 20. Sometimes it's easier to start at the 20 and just go backwards and make your little line. That's my first line. I didn't quite hit my dot, but I was really close to it. And close is pretty much close enough for this. This other line is also going to be 16. Height, width, height, width. Yours is going to be different. So you add your height, your width, and your width, and that'll tell you how long it needs to be. 3 plus 5, 3 plus 5, together makes 16. I start at the 4. I'm lining it up on the end of this line. If I flip it this way, maybe, no, I won't be able to draw the line. I always need the ruler on this side. So I'm lining it up. I'm going to go from the 4 to the 20 because that's 16. I'm going to make sure that I pass through the end here and the pencil mark at 90 degrees. So I'm trying to line it up so that the 4 is at the top and the pencil mark is at 90 degrees. And that's about as good as I can get it. And sometimes it takes a minute to make it work out right. And then I'm going to start at the 20, and I'm going to go back to the 4 because it's easier for me to see it that way. And so this is 16, this is 16. I can tell by looking, it's a little bit off, but it's not bad. I can always measure. The length was 8 up here. It should be 8 down here. And 4 plus 8 is 12, and I go from there. And it goes from 4 to 12 pretty good. So I actually did a pretty good job of making that line. For me, I like to turn it this way because I'm right-handed, and I just need to connect these 2 dots on the end to make my final length. I'm going to connect the 4 and the 12. So I just kind of line up the ruler. I connect the 4 and the 12. And you have the beginnings. If you can do this, you're pretty much guaranteed success at this point. So now I need to put the dots at the height and the width. Remember, the height was 3, the width was 5, the height was 3, the width was 5 on this one. But yours are going to be different numbers. So I line up the 4 right here. And I know that the 4, I'm on the outside of the box now. But I'm just using this to make dots to connect. I know that the 4 is, 4 plus 3 is 7, so I put a dot at the 7. I know 7 plus 5 is 12, so 7 plus 5 is 12, so I put a dot at the 12. And then I know that 12 plus 3 more is 15, so I'm going to put a dot at the 15. 15 plus 5 more is 20, but I don't need a dot at the 20 because the 20 is already connected. And then I'm going to go over to this side and I'm going to do the same thing. But I like to do my lines this way because my writing hand is over here. So this just makes it easier. So I line up the 4 again and the 20's down here on the end. But now I'm going to do subtraction. So this was 3. So 20 minus 3 is 17. So I put a dot at the 17. 17 minus 5, because this is 5. 17 minus 5 is 12. So I could put a dot at the 12. And then 12 minus 3 is 9, so I'm going to put a dot at the 9. So this is 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters as I go along the line. Now all I have to do is connect these dots. But when I connect the second and the third cross lines, I need to add the ears. And these are the ears that are sticking out on the other side. This is ear 1, this is ear 2. So the ears are height, length, height. So I need the height, which is 3, the length is 8, and the height is 3. So I need 3, 8, 3. 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 3 more makes 14. So I start at the 8. 8 minus 3, I do 3 for the height, and that's going to go to the 5. And then I'm going to do the 8, which makes it 16, and then I'm going to do 3 more and go from the 19. I'm going to try and go through both of these dots at the same time. So I'm going to start at the 19, which is 3 on this side, the height. Go all the way across for these 8, and then I'm going to go 3 past it and stop at the 5. And I'm going to do the same numbers here. So I line up these dots at the 8 and the 16, and I'm going to go from 19 to 5 again. And you're going to hope that the line is going through both of these dots that I made earlier. 19, 5. Excellent. Now you only have, oh, and sometimes I keep a paper towel to like wipe things off because the marker gets on the ruler and then it makes little smudge marks like that. But it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to connect this last one, but this one does not have ears. It's just from 8 to 16. So I just connect the 2 dots I already have and I'm done. And there's only 2 more loose ends. I need to connect these 2 up here, which is actually easier for me to do on this side. So I'm going from 6 to 11, which is 5, which is what it's supposed to be. So I go from 6 to 11. And then I'm going to go on this side. And let's just start at 6 because I know it needs to be 5. It's going to go from 6 to 11 over here. And I know it looks easy watching a video of me making this net, but promise me, I promise you, you're going to need to practice 2 or 3 times before you get one that looks relatively straight like this one does. And this is not perfect. And if I was to measure it with an actual protractor and get real nitty gritty, these angles are probably not exactly 90 degrees, but they are close enough to 90 degrees to make a rectangular prism that works. I have done everything, but I'll label the parts again. Remember, all of these ones going across are 8, which is my length. All of these ones that are over here are my height, which is 3. Your numbers are going to be different, but it's still going to be your height no matter what your numbers are. And then if I turn it this way, these guys are my width, which is 5 in this example. And I'm not telling you the volume of this one. And this is width, height, as we go along. You don't need to label all those, although you can. And then that is how you make a net for a rectangular prism.